It is time for this week's Benny in the Bets segment with our NFL gambling guru, Ben Heisler, out of Kansas City. Ben, we always like to take a look back, give you a bit of a report card. So in week 3, you proved relatively clairvoyant, at least with regard to the 49ers.
Yeah, we liked the fact that the 49ers were looking pretty money line last week against Arizona. That play ended up coming through for us. As far as our NFL picks go, we had Denver +3. Looked for a while like they were going to pull through, break through against the Chargers, maybe end that undefeated streak, but no dice, ended up being a push. So now brings our total record to 4-3-1 here on the program for the season.
All right, we can live with that. So let's look ahead to week 4, trying to improve upon those numbers. Now, admittedly, a small sample size, just 3 weeks into the season. But that said, what have we learned to this point in NFL 2025?
Yeah, for a while, things were swinging very much in favor of the favorites. We saw that for the first couple weeks of the season, but week 3, the underdogs finally came through. They were 10-6 against the spread in week 3. We also saw in the first 2 weeks of the season, Scott, that closing favorites of 4 points or more were 12-0 in 2025 in the first couple weeks of the season. However, in week 3, we saw 3 major favorites lose outright. You had Green Bay -8.5 on the road against the Cleveland Browns. They lost outright. Atlanta -5.5 got blown out by Carolina 30-0. And then Baltimore on Monday night, a 5.5-point favorite at home against the Lions. They ended up losing that game outright 38-30. And I think one other thing for us to consider is that it might be time to start live betting some of these underdogs. According to our guy Evan Abrams over at the Action Network, teams to lead entering the fourth quarter are 31-14 against the spread compared to the original line that it closed at before kickoff. That's the worst mark going all the way back to 1990. In fact, teams trailing at halftime are 28-16 against the spread compared to that second half spread. So we talk about the witching hour, Scott, the witching hour where winners become losers and losers become winners. It's happening in real time, especially so far in the NFL.
Scott Hansen wants his royalty check, just so we're clear. Okay, let's talk about week 4 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The line at 3.5 right now. I'm guessing that if and when Brock Purdy is confirmed as the starter, that's going to tick up a little bit.
I think so too. I don't know if it'll tick up to anything past maybe 4.5. I think that line is probably fair. That was the original look ahead line. 49ers minus 4.5. And the total also at 47. That opened at 45.5. So it's climbed a little bit, maybe with Purdy in mind. As far as this game goes, though, Scott, and I think if you're on my side here, I think this is an opportunity for Jacksonville. I like them getting that hook at 3.5. We've talked about the impact of Nick Bosa before. The 49ers are 6-12 straight up in games without Bosa since 2019, but with him in the lineup, 57-20 and 57-28. The 49ers have had still several issues in the second half covering the spread, 3-17 over their last 20 games against the spread. Meanwhile, Jacksonville, their issue has been in the second half, but they've been a good first half team, 3-0 against the spread in the first half, all while struggling to get the ball to their best players on offense. Brian Thomas, who was elite last year with just 7 receptions on the year, 115 yards, no touchdowns. I think they're going to be able to move the ball a little bit, especially with no Bosa. So I do like Jacksonville to cover that line, but I'm going to wait, knowing that if Purdy is in the lineup, you're probably going to get a better number on Jacksonville.
Okay, so in short, you're a hater this week, but that's fine. We love you anyway. It's all good. So, Ben, give me your best bet for week 4 in the league.
All right. By the way, I should also mention I do like Christian McCaffrey as a bet in this game. I'm going to have him going under 74.5 rushing yards. But hear me out. He's been catching the ball plenty of times in the lineup as well. So we'll see whether or not he exceeds that receiving yard. As far as my best bet go, let's go with another NFC West matchup. Seattle at Arizona. Give me Trey McBride to get an anytime touchdown for Arizona. The Seahawks are tied for allowing the most touchdowns and receptions. 2 tight ends so far in 2025. McBride leads the Cardinals by far and away in red zone targets this year. Plus, with Marvin Harrison not being able to catch wide open passes for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray needs a go-to threat. That's been McBride. I think he's going to find an opportunity for 6 against Seattle at home this week. So best bet, give me Trey McBride for an anytime touchdown.
So that's what a difference a year makes. 2024, Trey McBride was allergic to the end zone, and now he's your best bet for an anytime touchdown. I love it.
Law of variance says anything that can happen will.
All right, Ben Heisler, always appreciated. And as always, we'll check out the Benny and the Bets podcast over at KC Sports Network. Talk to you next week.
Thank you, Scott. Sorry to be a hater.